Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo, back again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. What we're talking about is the topic of parasailing death of a 19-year-old woman that appears to be a mystery. You know, a lot of people may have not even heard about this particular story, but I find it very interesting, and I want to share my commentary about it. They're saying that this is a parasailing horror. A woman that was panicked and she unbuckled, I guess, herself mid-air and plummeted to her death on a video. Now, the video won't be seen here because of the graphic nature of the video. And, you know, YouTube have guidelines that, prohibit stuff like that. But you could pretty much find that on other sites. But I want to share my commentary about this situation because what a lot of people are not getting from this particular news story is that it's not making sense. So I want to make it make sense for you good people out there. So now I'm on TMZ pretty much reviewing their website, and it talks about how a terrified woman unbuckled her seatbelt in the middle of a parasailing session high up in the air. Now, you got to think about this, guys. You have a woman who's high up in the air, and they want us to believe that she just started to unbuckle herself because she panicked. That don't make sense, guys. I need for you to understand that don't make no logical sense. When we do these kind of stories, these kind of investigations, we have to make sense of this. Number one, this woman, she agreed to board this parasailing situation. She agreed to this. She was on the beach, and basically, based on the reports, it talks about how a guy named Macaro or whatever, I'm not sure where this woman is from. It said it in the article, but she's clearly not American, right? It says that the company owner said the team was stunned by the tragedy because they claimed that she was on the beach and they came up to her, right? And asked if she wanted to be a part of this, and she agreed. So she agreed to get on board to take flight. But then now the media is putting out that she was panicking and started unbuckling herself. Now, that makes no sense because if you're high up in the air, you unbuckling yourself does not equal panic attack. What I believe happened, guys, is that woman was experiencing some sort of situation where she was either hallucinating, seeing something under some sort of drug that made her unbuckle herself to cause her own death. Because if you're high up in the air, common sense tell you if you unbuckle your safety harness and all that other stuff, you're going to die. So panicking doesn't equal loosening your safety harness. No, because if you're panicking, you would want to keep your safety harness on so you could be protected. So for the media to put the news out that she was having some sort of panic attack, that's a lie. That is not what happened. And judging by the video of what took place, that woman was seeing something. She was seeing something, and it was more important for her to loose off the safety gear than to just continue with the flight, which means, in my opinion, in my expert opinion, while she was in the air, she was seeing something. And in her mind, she wasn't even on that flight. You got to think and use your brain and step outside the picture. Now, again, I can't show the video because of YouTube guidelines. If you've seen the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is no way that that woman was having a panic attack. That woman was afraid for her life, and she was seeing something in front of her, and she wanted to get out of it. But why would you want to get out of a parasailing situation and you're high up in the air? You're going to fall to your death. So it's either one or the other. It's either she wanted to die, right? And she just said, hey, I'm just going to go up there and take my life. Or she was drugged, purposely killed. And that's why this happened. It could have been a situation where someone drugged her and they approached her, because why they approached her at the beach. It could have been some situation. I don't know what family she's from. She's probably from a rich family, probably got a lot of money, probably was the girlfriend of some weird guy or whatever the case is, and he put a hit out on her and tried to make it look like she just had this mysterious death of panicking in the air. These type of things happen, guys. Now, I'm not buying it because I'm intelligent and I can read between the lines. She's 19, had her whole future ahead of her. She's out on holiday, having vacation, whatever the case is, and she's approached on the beach to participate in this parasailing event. And in the process of that, as she goes up, all of a sudden you want me to believe she started to panic and just plummeted to her death? No, I'm not buying it. Because when you're panicking, you'll be screaming. In the video that they published on social media, you don't see her screaming, you don't see her yelling, you don't see nothing. There is no signs of her being involved in any sort of panic. You know what I mean? And it don't make no sense. No sense whatsoever. She wasn't saying, let me down, da, 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 da. None of that type of stuff. You see? It makes no sense. So you got to conclude that she was seeing something. Something was going on. Either she was under some sort of drug, hallucinating. She probably saw a demon. This woman was seeing something that was terrifying her, and it was more important for her to get off of that situation than to stay on it. And for her to lose herself meant that whatever she was seeing, she wasn't in the air. You got to picture this. In order for you to understand how to think logically in a situation like this, you got to step outside of the normal. In her mind, she was seeing a different reality than what was there. Meaning when she was in the air, she wasn't there. In her mind, she was sitting on a chair. In her mind, she saw herself in a different reality, a different area, because to lose yourself meant impending death. So if you're panicking, the last thing you want to do is die. You want to survive. When you're panicking, you're not going to loose your safety harness, because then now your chances of dying increase. You get it? And if you are afraid of parasailing, why would you even get on it? So they're not telling us the truth. They're not telling us what really happened. You see? They're not telling us the truth, guys. So let me continue and read more of this particular article here, guys. And make sure you click the like button as soon as you come in, guys. So it says, terrified woman unbuckled her seatbelt in the middle of a parasailing session high up in the air and plummeted to her death. And the whole nightmare was captured in a chilling footage. Viewer discretion advised. 19-year-old, Siberian woman, Tijana, on vacation in Budava, Montenegro, was seen frantically yanking off her life jacket and scrambling to undo her harness. So now think about this, guys. She took off her life jacket. A life jacket is supposed to help you in case you are in the water. And then she took off her safety harness. So she's basically undressing herself from any sort of safety. That is not the signs of someone panicking. That is the sign of someone that is under some sort of drug, under some sort of mind control, under something that's causing her to do these things. So it says that she is seen frantically yanking off her life jacket and scrambling to undo her harness before falling more than 160 feet. 160 feet into the sea last Wednesday. It appears as though TMZ probably took down the video, but I'm sure you can find the video somewhere else. It says you can see Tijana desperately wiggling free from yanking off her safety restraints, flipping upside down, then losing her grip before plunging to the earth. So when you think about that, just the sight of the video, because in order for you to have context, you have to understand the video. If you didn't see the video, I suggest you just search for the video and find it for yourself, because I can't post it on YouTube. I got the video downloaded, but I can't post it on YouTube because of the guidelines. In the video, you see her taking off the life jacket. You see her taking off the safety harness. That is not the signs of someone who's panicking. When you're panicking, you're trying to preserve your life. When you're panicking, you want to live. You get it? You might be scared. You might be fearful. But at the same time, you're not going to loose off the last point of contact that can save your life. If you're at sea and you're in if you're at the sea and your boat sank, but you have a life jacket, you're not gonna pop the life jacket or the balloon or whatever it is that's designed to keep you floating. You're not gonna cut it with a razor. If you're panicking, you might panic in the water because you can't swim, but you're gonna keep hold of the life jacket. Do you get what I'm saying? So the narrative they're trying to spin that she just was having a panic attack, that's how they kill people. That is how people die, and then they steal their souls and, end up harvesting organs and doing all sorts of other creepy stuff, because she's 19, she volunteered, and then all of a sudden she started creeping out. No, I'm not buying that. That woman was either drugged, hallucinating, under some sort of hypnosis, perhaps. Probably was injected with something when she got on the parasailing equipment. Something happened. Something happened to her. They could have did something, and there again, it sounds crazy when you break down these videos in this manner, but it's not. When you're panicking, you don't take off your safety restraints. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying that. It makes no sense. All right? So it goes on and it says, you can see Tijana desperately wriggling free after yanking off her safety restraints, flipping upside down, then losing her grip before plunging to the earth. It's unclear why Radonjic started unbuckling herself mid-air, or how far into the flight it happened, but some local reports say she had a full-blown panic attack, with witnesses claiming she was screaming. Well, if that's the case, where's the video? Because I don't believe that. I don't like hearing people say witnesses. If she's 160 feet in the air, right? You got to do the math, guys, right? 160 feet in the air, right? But she's screaming. You at the ground, how you know she's screaming? 160 feet in the air. Just do the math, guys. Where's the video? Because if you're filming this, you would have the video. 160 feet in the air is very high. So I'm not buying that. These people are lying. This woman, in my opinion, was murdered. I believe that she was drugged with some sort of hallucinating drug, some sort of drug that made her kill herself. Somebody wanted her out the way. Somebody wanted this woman out of the way, And this is how they were able to kill her. I don't believe news stories when they say stuff like, oh, well, she just was having a panic attack. You don't have a panic attack and take off your life jacket and your safety restraints. I'm not buying that. Right? So it says that it's unclear why she started to unbuckle herself midair or how far into the flight it happened. What do you mean it's unclear? Because shouldn't the owners know how far into the flight this happened? See, they're not giving you the pertinent information. They're hiding the information because she was murdered. You know, it don't make no sense. But see, that's what they're trying to give you guys. It doesn't make no sense whatsoever. But this is what they want you to believe. This is what they want you to believe, guys. Yeah, it says you can't hear them screaming because when me and my sister went parasailing, the people ain't hear us screaming at all. And see, this is what I'm saying. Listen, I worked in environments where you're either very high up or it's like a long way down. They're lying. So whoever says witnesses heard this and heard, they're lying, man. That's why I don't understand why people believe these things. Like, some people don't use no logic. They don't do the math. And they just believe these stories. This woman was murdered. She was murdered. In my humble opinion, someone put a hit out of her and they had a heck of a lot of money. And they orchestrated this whole thing to make it look like she just had a panic attack and died. The way she died, you could tell she was under some sort of drug. She was frantically taking off harnesses, guys. Why would you take off the safety restraints so you can drop to your death? Does that sound like someone's panicking? No. That's someone who's trying to break free from something that they're fearful of. You're not going to take off your restraints knowing you're going to fall 160 feet to your death. That doesn't make logical sense. You understand? If anything, you're going to be holding on for dear life. You're going to be holding on to the parasailing equipment. You're not going to be loosening off everything. So the narrative that they put out there, guys, is a lie. You know? Something happened, guys. Let me see. Integrity says, I would assume that there is some type of communication between the parasail and people on the ground. Yeah, that's another thing. Because aren't you technically connected to like, you're connected to something, because before you can go up, you got to be connected. There have to be a crew that is following you. So it's like, this doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And then on top of that, they had cameras and stuff. So they would know if something is wrong to take action. You get what I'm saying? So none of this stuff is making sense. None of it make sense, guys. Yeah, she do look like Scottie Pippen's ex. Definitely. She definitely looked like the ex. That's weird. For real. But yeah, guys. This is clearly a cover-up of a more sinister act. I believe that they murdered this woman. I really wish that YouTube would create a category where content creators can show graphic content. And even if it's a paywall, even if a content creator had to, I guess, pay a fee in order to have access to that type of account, that way that the certain restrictions would allow them to, I guess, post footage and stuff that's graphic in nature, because people want to see these things. And it makes it difficult to talk about a story when you're unable to show the truth. You know what I mean? I get it. They have guidelines and various other things, but I still believe that there should be some sort of, opportunity where, for content's sake, where people are able to share information. and they're still protected and not violating the guidelines because they signed up for the particular program or whatever the case is. Because the video is very graphic. Yes, it don't show her falling, even though she falls out of frame, but that's all it is. But they call that graphic, because you actually need to see what's happening with the video in order to know how serious this is, to show that she was under some sort of drug. She was not in her normal mind, and she didn't show the signs of someone panicking. I'm not buying that. That woman was not panicking. She was desperately trying to get off of something out of fear. And the fear made her believe that jumping off is the better option. But why would you jump off knowing you're gonna die? So whatever was up there with her, whatever she was seeing, it was more gruesome and more scary than you could think. Well, yeah, of course the footage is going to be on other websites. All you got to do is just go do a search and you'll find it. But the point that I'm making here is she's seen something, guys, in the air. I don't know if it was a demon, a fallen angel, a monster, some sort of reality. She saw something, and I believe that she was under a drug. I don't care what nobody say, guys. Logically speaking, that woman was under a drug, under some sort of hypnosis. Something happened to her. So let me continue reading this article. So it says that it's unclear why she started unbuckling herself mid-air or how far into the flight it happened, but some local reports say she had a full-blown panic attack, with witnesses claiming she was screaming, "Put me down," just seconds before the fall. Nowhere in the video do you see her saying anything. This is why I know they're lying. Because if witnesses are saying that she was screaming and saying, "Put me down," why they post a video clip of her just loosening herself off and then falling? How come they didn't show her screaming and saying, "Put me down"? So it's not making any sense, guys. It's not making any sense whatsoever. So it goes on and it says her lifeless body was later recovered from the water, right? Now, moving on, it says that she took to the skies after a rep from the Parasailing company approached her. Let me get this on the screen for you. Let me see. Because this is not making any sense, guys. It's not making any sense. None whatsoever. So OFC says it was a close-up view from the camera. The land and sea is viewed in the distance behind her since, she can be seen unbuckling each strap piece by piece. She falls over face first, legs caught at first. Yeah. And this is why it's not making sense, because, like I said, she was unbuckling herself. That is not the signs of someone panicking. That's the sign of someone knowing exactly what to unstrap. You know what I mean? So it says she took to the skies after a rep from the Parasailing company approached her on the beach. So she was on the beach chilling, minding her own business. Somebody walked up to her and approached her. Well, that's how killers do it. You see that? Think about this, guys. Somebody walked up to her to approach her. She wasn't interested in parasailing. She was just minding her business. This is why I'm saying it's murder. Guys, I'm the best when it comes to doing these investigative reporting videos. I'm the best in the game, guys. Listen to me. This woman was approached, it says. It says she was approached. They approached her. The company approached her on the beach and offered her a free ride according to local media. So notice this, guys. She didn't even have to pay. She didn't even have to pay, guys. You see that? They set her up. Imagine, you think that company is going to go around asking everybody to come on board for free? They ain't going to make no money. But for her, they made her feel special. We're offering you a free ride. You see that? That's how you know it was a setup, guys. Allegedly, in my opinion, she was set up and they put her to death. So it says, Mirko Krasik, the company's owner, said the team was stunned by the tragedy, claiming Tijana showed no signs of fear and had gone through the usual training beforehand. See, this is, again, more clues that something is wrong, because the owner says the team was stunned by the tragedy, claiming Tijana showed no signs of fear. Because if you fear parasailing, you wouldn't even get on it, because you know you're going to be high up in the air. They warn you and tell you you're going to be all the way up in the air. You know, you're going to feel weird. And she probably did this multiple times, guys. These type of 19-year-old probably got money somewhere, probably come from a family of money. This is nothing new. You see what I mean? The company owner said she showed no signs of fear. So if she showed no signs of fear, why they published this as she was having a panic attack? It's not making no logical sense, guys. A person that showed no signs of fear would not be having a panic attack, right? And you wouldn't even go on it if you know you're going to panic. If you're afraid of heights, you're not going to go on that. So they said she showed no signs of fear and had gone through the usual training beforehand. So before she even went up, she went through a little training course to give her an understanding of what she's involved in, right? Another outlet reported that, you know what that word is, hasn't been ruled out. So now they're trying to, now they're saying, we haven't ruled out the possibility of her taking her life. But that don't make no sense. Why? Because they approached her on the beach. So she had no intent on going on a parasailing situation. But now they trying to throw in, we haven't ruled out her taking her life. How could they even throw that in there? Guys, somebody wanted this young lady dead. I said somebody wanted this young lady dead. Because they're trying to spin it as a panic attack. The owners said she showed no sign of fear. She was trained. She understood exactly what she was going into, and the team is stunned. Then you have witnesses claiming they heard her screaming, "Get me down." That's a lie. There's no footage of that, right? But her family is firmly rejecting that claim. So her family is rejecting the claim of her taking her life. Well, I would too if I was her family. It makes no sense. Because it's not like she planned it. She didn't go there purposely planning to go parasailing. They asked if she wanted to do this, and they gave her a free, ride. Authorities are still digging into what exactly went wrong. Well, there was a camera filming the whole thing. So how come they didn't publish the whole thing? I mean, guys, when I tell you this is a cover-up, because all they had to do is publish the full video of her going up in the air so that we can analyze the full video. That way you would see all the anomalies, all the different aspects of flight. From the beginning as it goes up, you'll see her facial expressions, body language, and you'll know when the drugs allegedly kicked in or when the nightmare began. This woman, in my humble opinion, was murdered and is being covered up as woman has a panic attack and unbuckles herself mid-air. That makes no sense. You should have never said she unbuckled herself mid-air, because if you're panicking, you don't unbuckle yourself. You're trying to preserve your life. If you're afraid of falling, you hold on. So it's not like she was afraid of falling. Listen, guys, if you're panicking and you're afraid of falling, you do not loose your safety harness. You do not take off your life jacket. Taking off your life jacket means you want to drown. You get it? So that is not adding with this narrative of panic attack. If you're afraid of heights, you're holding on the banister. You know? How many of you ever been at some sort of resort or somewhere where it's very high in the sky, very, very high, and you find yourself holding on the railing because you're scared of heights? Well, you're trying to preserve your life. You're holding on because you're nervous. You know what I mean? You start panicking, you hold on. You don't let go. She did the reverse. You know? It makes no sense. She was loosing herself from safety. So she had to be under a drug. Somebody probably gave her a drink before she took flight, guys. Guys, somebody gave her a drink. Somebody gave her something. Before she took flight, somebody probably gave her a drink. Somebody probably gave her some gum. Somebody did something, and that woman started to lose her mind, started hallucinating during the flight, and started unbuckling herself. It's crazy, man. But I'm going to try to dig a little deeper with this story, see what I can find, because I'm not buying it, bruh. This woman was murdered, in my opinion. She was murdered. They covered it up. She most likely come from a rich family, and somebody wanted her dead. It could have been an ex-boyfriend. It could have been a situation where she probably had some sort of lawsuit out with somebody, probably getting money. I'm pretty sure if we dig deeper into this woman's life, something was going on. You know what I mean? I found her Instagram page and was combing through that, but I'm pretty sure this woman had some ties to something, and somebody wanted her dead. Definitely somebody wanted her dead, because it's not making any logical sense. You don't just kill yourself and throw yourself off of 160 feet in the air, knowing you're gonna die. So her losing herself means impending death. So which is the safer of the two? Staying in the paragliding, machine, or loosening yourself so you can fall to your death? Which one is guaranteed to kill you faster? So all of that panic attack stuff, I'm not buying that. They really want us to believe that they could just use words like panic attack and we're just so dumb, we're just gonna buy it. No, use common sense, man. Use some logic. A lot of people don't use logic at all, bro. They don't even think. You know? So guys, I'm gonna get up on out of here. I'm gonna keep you posted on this particular story, this news story, and see how it goes, because I need to know a little bit more about who she is and her background, because some info might pop up. There could be a possibility that she was involved in something and somebody wanted her gone, bro. She could have been a witness to something and they wanted her out of here. You know? But I believe that somebody drugged this woman before she took flight, because they came up to her, guys. According to the article, she was on the beach. Some people approached her and said, "Would you like to participate for free?" What are the odds of her being chosen? They didn't choose nobody else. They chose her because somebody wanted her dead, guys. It all makes sense if you put the puzzle together. So that being said, we're going to get up on out of here. Rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Ringo TV Reactions salute you. I'm out of here. Y'all take care. Peace. We out.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.